Come on. Ah, there we go. Okay. We are back. It's Saturday. We're talking about WandaVision Episode 3. Let me know if you can hear me in the chat room. Always got to remember to check that audio. Because of the one time I did a live stream and I talked for like half an hour without realizing that the sound was off. This was on my other channel. Let me know. Volume sounds okay. Cool. Alright. Alright, so we're talking about WandaVision Episode 3, which dropped yesterday. Also, I just finished watching Fate the Winx saga on Netflix. If you guys are interested in that at all, I don't really see why you would be. But if you want me to give my thoughts on that, okay. Before we get started, I have a little health update for you, in case you're wondering. I had another doctor's appointment on Tuesday, where I told the doctor, look, I went to the primary care guy, and he didn't really have any ideas, but he gave me some different antibiotics, because the one time I tried those, I was allergic to them. So he gave me some different ones. They were kind of semi-effective. So doctor says, oh, okay, well, I guess I can give you some other ones that are stronger, see if that helps. In the meantime, we can schedule sinus surgery if you want. So we did that. My surgery is scheduled for March 5th. In the meantime, I got these new meds, and they feel like they're working, at least partially. I do feel somewhat better since I've been on these, which is a big relief, because I've been sick since like June. I haven't felt like even remotely normal since then. FYI, these things are supposed to cause dizziness and muscle weakness, so if I'm a little out of sorts in this video, that's why. So I'm taking these for the next week or so, and if they work, it's a big if, I might not need the surgery. But I'm thinking I might just end up getting it anyway, because the doctor said he could correct my deviated septum while he's up there. And I didn't even know I had one, but apparently that's why I can't breathe so well out of my right nostril. So that'd be nice to have done, I guess. But anyway, it's not why you guys came here, is it? No. So, WandaVision. So I am going to go through the whole episode. I'm going to spoil everything. So there's your spoiler warning, and then we'll get to comments and super chats afterward. So let me just get my notes out here, put the chat room over there, and don't need that. All right. So, episode 3 of WandaVision. This may have been a turning point in the show, and it may not have been. They answered one question that needed to be answered, but they also presented several more questions. And it's not clear if this is going to be an X-Files type of situation, where they just pile questions on top of questions on top of questions and rarely answer them in a satisfying way. That's going to largely depend on what happens in episode 4, I think. But right now, it appears as if we're heading in the right direction. We just had to get through episode 3 first, which, gotta be honest, felt like a slog until the last 5 minutes or so. So they're in the 70s now. I'm not entirely sure what sitcom they're doing a riff on this time. The Partridge Family? I don't know. And it doesn't help, and that doesn't help because, excuse me, once again, most of this is sitcom stuff. When last we left off, Wanda had suddenly become pregnant from seemingly out of nowhere. Immaculate Conception? Your guess is as good as mine. So this episode begins with the doctor making a house call, and he's doing the stethoscope thing, and he's listening to the belly, and it's like, well, Yep, you're definitely pregnant. And Wanda and Vision are naturally very weirded out that Wanda is suddenly 4 months pregnant when this only started about 12 hours ago. And Vision asks the doctor to keep this pregnancy between them because things are happening very fast. Now, it's not clear if Vision wants to keep this quiet because he knows something screwy is going on in this world of theirs, or if this is just 1970s logic, 1970s sitcom logic, dictating that this should be so. It's not clear yet. So neighbor Herb, that's the guy from the neighborhood watch meeting from the previous episode, seems like he's trying to eavesdrop on this conversation while he trims his hedges, and he's so distracted that he starts running the trimmer through the wall separating their yards. So he's cutting a hole in the wall. Sitcoms! Anyway, Vision goes back into the house, and from out of nowhere, Wanda is suddenly much more pregnant. So time is accelerating very quickly, but the babies are the only ones who are actually aging. I don't know why. Now, I assume Wanda is doing this somehow. That wasn't in her power set prior to this. But the weird thing is, her and Vision keep doing things that they couldn't do before. Like, Vision has super speed from out of nowhere this week. Where'd that come from? Neither of them have commented on this also. Like, neither of them have wondered why their powers are suddenly different. You know, they notice other weird things about this situation, but not that. It's very confusing. So later, they're setting up the nursery, and the babies kick, and this causes Wanda to suddenly turn the butterflies on the mobile thing into real butterflies. It's another thing she couldn't do before. So the pregnancy is affecting her powers now. So Vision's reading this baby book thing, and the book says that babies kicking means that Wanda should be at about 6 months. And this all started the previous day. So she's gone from 4 months to 6 months in like about an hour. So anyway, they start thinking about names. Vision likes Billy, Wanda likes Tommy. So Wiccan and Speed are incoming. Later, Vision practices putting a diaper on a doll. He does this in super speed, which he makes no comment about. It's as if he's always had that power, which he didn't as far as I remember. And then Wanda has fake labor pains, and this causes her powers to go nuts again. And, things in the kitchen start going haywire, so they abandon the kitchen. And Vision goes to check on the neighbors, and we find out that the power is out on the whole block. And Wanda's concerned about this. She's concerned that people will know it was her, because it seems like the whole town is always on the verge of learning their big secret. And that's going to be the cause of many a sitcom hijink in this episode, so buckle up. Then the mood changes again. We shift out of sitcom mode, things get darker for a moment, and suddenly things get very interesting. Vision knows what Wanda means. Like, he's starting to notice that weird things are happening, and he's slowly cottoning on that there's something wrong with this whole scenario they're in, but he still can't put his finger on what. But this is the first tease of the mystery in the episode, and frankly, the first thing that was genuinely compelling. At least to me, anyway. Then Wanda starts having real contractions, and Vision freaks out so much that he starts levitating. And then Wanda has to do Lamaze breathing to calm Vision down, even though she's the one in labor, because Wanda's the one wearing the pants in this relationship, let's be honest. Excuse me. Then it starts raining in the living room, because Wanda's water just broke, and naturally that means it should start raining. I don't know. I don't know. Then we go to a commercial break, and the commercial is about a woman who's really stressed out about her day-to-day life, And the ad is for relaxing Hydra Soak bath powder. Feel the goddess within is the slogan. So, my guess is that it's somehow referring to Wanda gaining powers from a Hydra experiment, but I thought they already covered that with previous commercials, so who knows. Then the rain in the living room magically stops, but everything is soaked, so Wanda makes it really windy to dry everything off. So Wanda can control the wind now. They're really just pulling new superpowers out of their ass this week. And to be honest, it's getting annoying. Alright, there's no rhyme or reason to them. There don't seem to be any rules that these powers are playing by. It's just whatever the writers want Wanda to be able to do, she can do. Now, yes, Wanda's powers in the comics are really ill-defined, and there came a point where no one could concretely explain what the hell they were anymore, but there's much less allowance for that in a TV show. They need to explain this, and I'm getting tired of them not explaining it. So anyway, Vision tries calling the doctor, but the phone's not working, and the doctor mentioned earlier that he was going on vacation, so Vision super speeds out to get the doctor. So I guess he's not so concerned about keeping their secret anymore. At least not right now. Why not just take Wanda to the hospital? Because sitcoms, I guess. Anyway, Wanda hears some strange noise coming from the nursery. It sounds like doggy breathing, I think. I don't know. But the doorbell rings before she can investigate it, and I don't think they follow up on that this week. So Wanda puts on a big oversized coat to hide the pregnancy, and Geraldine is at the door. Geraldine, who we met in episode 2. And she came to borrow a bucket, because every pipe in her house has burst. Wanda goes to the kitchen to get a bucket, but she has contractions, and the contractions magically turn her coat into a raincoat. Then she has another contraction, and that magically turns the raincoat into a fur coat. Geraldine finds a bucket, and then Wanda hides the pregnancy belly with a big bowl of fruit. "Hey, would you look at that?" Geraldine says. "Fruit!" It's... And we just go on like this. We have what felt like a really, really long sequence of sitcom nonsense at this point. Geraldine sits down to start talking about the day she had at her job. But a big stork appears. You know, the bird? The stork? It appears behind her. It's just walking around back there. And... I don't know why. Is it just the symbolism because she's pregnant? Anyway, Wanda keeps Geraldine talking so she won't notice the stork. And she tries to hex the stork, I guess, or do something to it, but she just creates a little puff of red smoke. And she tries to do it a couple more times and just gets another puff of red smoke. I don't know what the significance of the red smoke is. I mean, Wanda's power signature was already red. I don't know what this is about, and I'm getting a little impatient for something to happen at this point. So Geraldine is about to notice the stork, so Wanda has to throw some fruit at the stork, and that scares it away. But Geraldine heard a chattering sound, and Wanda says, "Oh, that's just the ice maker in the fridge." And it says, "Wow, an ice maker in the fridge? The future is here!" So Geraldine goes back to talking about her day, and the stork comes back around the couch, and it grabs a hold of Geraldine's pants with its beak. She somehow doesn't notice this, I don't know why, and then finally the stork runs out of the house. Scintillating stuff. And when Geraldine finally gets to the end of the story, it ends with her getting a promotion at work. But now she needs office supplies for her new job. And she wonders if Wanda has any office supplies in that spare room, which is now a nursery. So she goes into the nursery, and the stork is in there. but then it stands in front of the stork that Wanda and Vision painted on the wall, so it blends in with the wall so she doesn't notice it. I don't know why any of this is important. So she doesn't see the stork, but she does see the big crib in the middle of the room, and then Wanda has another big contraction and she drops the bowl of fruit, and Geraldine's like, oh my god, you're pregnant? I know, right? She was doing such a great job hiding it. And yeah, I'm trying to give them the benefit of the doubt with this story here. I really am, but it felt like this scene was never going to end. And my patience is really wearing thin at this point. So, meanwhile, Vision super speeds over to the doctor's house, and he finds the doctor working on his car. He hasn't left yet. He hasn't left for his vacation yet because the car won't start. So he grabs the doctor and super speeds him back to the house, which the doctor notices that they were going very fast, but he doesn't really question it for some reason. Even though I don't know why you wouldn't. So Wanda's powers are causing all kinds of weird shit to happen. The vacuum is running on its own and moving on its own. The painting on the wall is spinning around. And Geraldine notices all this weird stuff, but assumes there's some kind of logical explanation for it. So it's not clear what the other players in this thing are able to comprehend. If they see something weird, do they understand that it's weird? Do they understand that this is a thing that should not be? We don't really know, and the show has not done a good job explaining it. So the baby is born. It's a boy. The doctor and Geraldine go into the kitchen to give the new parents some privacy. Wanda asks Vision if he wants to meet his son as himself. And this is odd, since Wanda's been wanting to keep their secret, and Geraldine and the doctor are like right over here, like 10 feet away. But Vision drops the human disguise, he goes back to synthezoid mode, and he decides that the boy's name is Tommy, the name that Wanda picked out. Then Wanda starts having more contractions. And then we fast forward a little bit, and they now have two baby boys, Tommy and Billy. So there's Speed and Wiccan. You know, they're definitely planting the seeds for Young Avengers. You know, whether that'll be a movie or a Disney Plus show, who knows? But it's going to be a thing sooner or later. So the doctor thanks Geraldine for her help, and he thinks that she might have what it takes to be a nurse. But not a doctor, because sexism, I guess. So Vision sees the doctor out. He hopes that the doctor can still make his trip. The doctor says that he doesn't think he'll be going on the trip after all. You know, small towns, hard to escape. It's an odd thing to say. But this is the first acknowledgement that all these people may be trapped in whatever this place is. We don't know how aware of that they are, but they apparently cannot get out or cannot leave this town. So Herb and the neighbor lady are whispering gossiping about Wanda's sudden pregnancy. The neighbor lady asks nervously if Geraldine is inside with Wanda. And again, the mood changes, and here's where things finally get really interesting. Geraldine's like, can you believe it? Twins! And Wanda gets very somber all of a sudden. She's like, I'm a twin. I had a brother. His name was Pietro. And Geraldine seems to think there's something very strange about that. She can't put her finger on it, but something is off. And then Wanda starts singing to the babies in Sokovian, like a Sokovian lullaby or something. And suddenly Geraldine says, he was killed by Ultron, wasn't he? Your brother. So we go back to outside, and neighbor lady and Herb are talking about Geraldine to Vision. And they think there is something not right about her. She's new in town. She has no husband. She has no home. And Wanda then asks Geraldine, like, what she said. What do you mean by that? And Geraldine tries to slip back into sitcom mode, Not clear if she does that intentionally or if it's just part of whatever's controlling them, but for the first time, Wanda does not allow this. So, I don't know if she's fighting against the programming or if she's the one who's doing all this and she's just not having it anymore. But she asks again, and her Sokovian accent comes out for a second there. And Geraldine tries to deflect. She says, oh, hey, let me take a turn rocking the baby so you can have a break for a minute. But Wanda thinks, no, that Geraldine should leave. And she notices Geraldine wearing a necklace with the sword insignia, which I now know is a sword insignia. Thank you very much, chat room. This whole scene is getting really dark and disturbing and uncomfortable now, in a good way. And Wanda wants to know what the symbol is, what it means. Meanwhile, Herb tries to say that Geraldine came here because we're all, and he can't quite finish the thought. But Neighbor Lady stops him from talking, tries to break the tension and make some funny jokes before she leaves. And then Vision rushes back inside, and Wanda says Geraldine had to go home. And then the sitcom aspect ratio shifts back into, cinematic widescreen. It's a very cool effect, actually. And we cut to outside, and we see Geraldine being thrown through some kind of invisible, energy barrier. And there's loads of military guys around, and there's, helicopters and vehicles and, tents set up, and they all rush to her. And in the background, we see that the whole town is some kind of weird sci-fi Truman Show type of compound thing. This was a great cliffhanger. Now, admittedly, I was getting very impatient with the episode up until that point, but the last 5 minutes got really interesting. And the story looks about to shift into second gear now, which I would have liked to see happen sooner. But we're getting there now. So progress is being made, but they need to start explaining things better. A lot better. So here's what I want to see happen in the next episode. Okay? I want episode 4 to be from Sword's perspective. I want to see behind the scenes, so we can finally get some idea of what the hell is going on here, what these people are trying to do. Is Geraldine a Sword agent? Is she, a part of what they're doing? Is she one of the people in the compound that are being screwed with? Does she have any idea about what's going on? Are all those people in the town, are they in on the con? Are they just actors? Is Wanda just doing a massive mindfuck on everybody and Sword is, trying to contain it somehow? They need to start answering these questions starting in the next episode. Because I'm over the sitcom shit. Okay? It was an interesting gimmick at first, but now it just feels like they're leaning on it way too much to kill time until the story actually gets moving. Now, they can still do it, but have it be something that the Sword agents are watching on a monitor in the background while we find out what's going on with Sword, because that's what's important right now. I think that's going to be key to understanding exactly what this situation is. And this episode was both the most impatient I've been with the show so far, and also the most intrigued I've been by it. Because most of the episode, I was tempted to just hit fast forward through all the hijinks, the stuff with the stork. Why is this happening? I mean, if it's important somehow, then tell us why it's important. Because I don't know if it's important or not yet. And so it's just really hard to care about a lot of the stuff that's happening. If it's just there for wacky laugh track fodder, then I don't care, and I don't see why I should, really, because the sitcom stuff has worn really thin. But it just seems like the showrunners are in love with this concept, and I expect it's going to continue for a while, just with the big mystery becoming slightly more prominent every week. I'm ready to just switch the focus to the big mystery and be done with this. Because I'm here for the mystery, I'm here for the Sword stuff. The sitcom stuff, the novelty has worn off, let's move on. So, a bit of a tough episode to get through, admittedly, but they really saved it with the last 5 minutes, so I am excited for the next one, provided they follow it up the right way. Because if we just start episode 5 with or episode 4 rather, with more sitcom stuff, then that's a hard pass for me. Now let's turn the page on this. Okay. So that was WandaVision episode 3. Let's see what people in the chat room are saying. Okay. Hold on. Let me just get to... We got a super chat or two here. Yoink. There we go. John Wheeler, thank you very much for the super chat. WandaVision seems to be copying off that old Justice League episode, Legends. You know, I don't remember that one off the top of my head. I'll have to look that one up. Okay, Man in Hades. No comment, but super chatting $10. Thank you very much. If you have any comments or questions, feel free. So not used to being here live. Hope you're feeling better. Yeah. Thank you. I do feel somewhat better. Not exactly normal, but better than I was a couple days ago. The meds are definitely doing something. But yeah, I do feel considerably better than I did, which is a pretty big relief, actually. I can hear you eating. Yeah, that was a cough drop. Let's... tell us about WinX. Let me get through all these comments first. Hope your surgery goes well. I had surgery last year. Got one of my testicles removed. Oh my god. That sounds horrifying. I hope that turned out well for you. Good lord. I was hoping you didn't need the surgery, but you go under the knife on my birthday, so I'll have a few beers for you. Thank you. Yeah, I don't know if I'll need the surgery or not. I'm thinking I might get it anyway, if it's going to help me breathe a little better. Because, yeah, because I can't breathe so well out of the right nostril, which I didn't really notice before, but come to think of it, once the doctor pointed it out, I'm like, yeah, you're right. It's weird. Plus, I got chronic allergies, so it's kind of hard to breathe out of my nose anyway, and so I don't need anything else messing that up. Tell us about Wiccan and Speed. Well, there's not much to tell yet. They're just babies. With the way this show operates, they might be preteens by episode 4. So who knows? Your guess is as good as mine. Wanda has gone mad. Maybe? I mean, again, it's really hard to tell because, so little about this show has been explained to the audience yet. We're still very much in the dark about almost everything. Is Wanda doing this because she's gone insane? Is Sword just messing with her head? Is Wanda messing with everyone else's head? We don't know yet. Vision does have super speed, though. Does he? See, I don't remember him using that in the movies at all. Because if he had that power previously, I don't remember him using it. Not until now. It's not a power from the movie. Yeah, there you go. Not a power from the movie. So why does he have it now? That's Pietro. I think it's spilling over into him. How? How is it? But that doesn't make sense. Like, is Wanda doing that too? How does she do it? This is not her power set in the movies. In the movies, she has telekinesis and something that like something that's akin to telepathy, I guess. She doesn't have she doesn't warp reality. I think we talked about this before, but they got to make this make sense. Because right now I have nothing but questions. What's he eating? I was eating a cough drop. The baby's powers. These are the baby's powers. Okay, well then shouldn't Wanda be the one who has super speed then? Why is Vision the one moving fast? If it's the baby's powers, okay, I can buy that. But why is Vision getting extra powers? It shouldn't it be Wanda? Wanda's supposed to change reality, so it makes sense. No, she changes reality in the comics. In the movies, she's a telekinetic. To be continued, I guess. Good luck with Batwoman Season 2, Episode 3. Well, I was trying not to think about Batwoman, but thank you very much. Oh, I got a new episode tomorrow, don't we? Although the views on the season premiere were pretty good. Analytics for my last two reviews are pretty encouraging, actually. We went through a several month period where analytics weren't so hot. Luckily luckily we're getting back to talking about stuff that people are actually interested in and buzzing about a little bit. So hopefully sub growth and channel analytics can resume or get back to something close to what they were before the pandemic shut everything down. I couldn't watch any more of this show. I tried the first two, but the third, I'm just not enjoying it at all. Yeah, the pacing is admittedly slow, and they're not revealing new information in a satisfying way. They're really taking their time with it, which is odd to me because the entire series is only supposed to be about 6 hours long. So we're kind of approaching the halfway point already, and it still feels like we're in the prologue or something. I feel like they could have gotten to this point in 2 episodes. I don't think they needed 3 episodes for this at all. Red smoke appears when Wanda uses her powers in the comics and the movies. No, I got that. But again, that's not her power set. I mean, it looks like something that resembles smoke, but this is not the same thing as the effect in the movies. It's different. And I don't know why it's different. That bothers me. If you change something like that, explain the damn thing. Explain it, damn it. Wanda's turning into a broken, grieving villain, I believe this, which may lead to Spider-Man 3 and Multiverse of Madness. Feige said it's all connected to those 2 films are connected to this. Alright. I'm a little annoyed that Spider-Man 3 is being dragged into this multiverse nonsense, because I'm not a huge fan of that. I don't see how that's an organic follow-up to where we left off in Far From Home. I really don't. Kind of feels like they should be focused on his identity being made public, not traipsing around the multiverse. It's just it's weird. Third episode sounds interesting. No, it's the most interesting one they've done so far. Still think it's not as interesting as it should be. But again, it's a pacing issue. They're trying to give Captain Marvel Doctor Strange powers in the comics. Oh, Christ. Are they giving Carol, like, magic powers? Did she not have enough powers already? Good lord. I mean, I think they're doing that with the X-Men, too. Like, I think, they're doing this, like, this mutant magic nonsense that's really confusing. I don't know why they keep trying to... For some reason, the comics keep, like, trying to shoehorn magic into places it shouldn't be. Why does Captain Marvel need more powers? Gee, good lord. Doesn't he not have enough already? So stupid. Okay, Carol's problem is not that she doesn't have enough powers. But they don't know this is ridiculous. How many episodes of Batwoman got this year? I'm assuming it's like 10. Because we're starting at mid-season, so 10 seems reasonable. It feels to me that Wanda's in a coma-like state. Her having babies this quick could mean that she doesn't have a perspective of time in a coma. Alright. So, is this all like some kind of dream that Wanda's having? See, I don't know if I buy that, because it seems like some of the people in this town are real people. And some of them are sort of aware that there's something screwy going on. Now, it's unclear if they're actors playing a part, or if they're just people who got sucked into this, like as bystanders, and now they're starting to break through whatever's happening. Which, again, could be Wanda doing something, it could be SWORD doing something, we just don't know yet. And we need more information. I hope you watch Super Cuck and Lois. Well, I'll definitely watch and review the first episode. Whether I do more than that will depend on the views the first one gets. So, if you want me to cover that show every week, you know what to do. What is SWORD anyway? Sentient Worlds Observation and Response Department. That was a concept introduced in Joss Whedon's run on Astonishing X-Men back at, following Grant Morrison's run. It's kind of like a SHIELD type organization, but it handles extraterrestrial threats. I'm not sure what how close to that the MCU version will be, but that's what it is in the comics. I think 1 to 3 episodes should have come out at once, and from 4 onwards to explain. Yeah, that would have been better. End the initial drop of episodes with that cliffhanger. That would have been a better way to go, I think. And I just lost my place in the chat room. STD is so bad. Yeah, I heard. Apparently, it's so bad even Linkara couldn't keep up with it. Right? He said he's dropping it after season 3. That's Linkara we're talking about. Dude loves Star Trek. If even he couldn't stay with it, good lord. The powers are linked to the babies. Wanda still isn't in control of hers. A plausible theory, but why does Vision get super speed? I mean, if the new powers are coming from the babies, then Wanda should be the one with super speed. She's the one who's pregnant. And also, how exactly did she get pregnant? You know, I talked about this last week. Is Vision's synthesoid body anatomically correct? Is he capable of, having sex and impregnating someone? We don't know that either. And if he's not, then where the hell did these babies come from? Did Wanda create them out of thin air? Okay, but again, that's not her power set in the MCU. Very little about this stuff is making sense right now. Elizabeth Olsen's acting is really good in the show, though. Oh, absolutely. She's the MVP of the show. She's been terrific. I have issues with it, but, her acting is not the problem. Okay, another super chat from John Wheeler. Thank you so much. I hope they parody controversial sitcoms like Married with Children or All in the Family. Oh, Married with Children, absolutely. They have to do Married with Children. If they keep going all the way to the 90s, they have to do Al and Peggy Bundy. They have to. Okay, if I'm going to continue watching the sitcom stuff, they got to give me Al and Peggy Bundy. 100%. I had sinus surgery years ago, not nearly as painful as I thought it would be. Oh yeah, I'm not concerned about that. I mean, I've had dental surgeries that were more invasive than this. So apparently, I guess the way it works is a doctor numbs you up, and then he inserts a balloon into your sinuses and then inflates it, and that's supposed to drain out whatever blockage I've got up there. So I guess they don't even have to knock me out for it. So I'm not concerned about that. Plus, I mean, I've been living with. I mean, I've been in pain for like 6 months with this stuff anyway. So I mean, if it hurts a little bit more to be rid of this thing, I'm cool. I'm not scared of that. And Michael West, I don't know what currency that is, but thank you for the super chat anyway. Does the babies? Do the babies get power, and that why she can control wind and rain? Honestly, I don't know. I never read the Young Avengers comics, so I know there's two babies. One has super speed, like Pietro, and then there's Wiccan. I don't know what Wiccan's powers are. I think they're magic based. Or they're something more closely related to Wanda's powers. I'm not sure what exactly his powers are, though. So if the babies are causing all this, then I assume the wind and rain are coming from Wiccan. But that's the best I've got. Or it could be just Wanda making things happen because she's getting new powers. Because that's a thing too. Because she was displaying new powers before she got pregnant. She's combining her brother and Vision into one person. So does that mean she had sex with her brother? Come to think of it, there is basis for that in the comics. Ugh. Ultimates Volume 3. What were they thinking? Will you review Lower Decks again when it comes out? I don't know. Depends where I'm at in terms of viewership. Because, the Lower Decks reviews didn't really get a huge audience. Didn't really expect them to, since I'm not, like, the Star Trek guy. I think if people are looking for Star Trek reviews, they kind of know which YouTubers to come to, and I'm not one of them. Like Doomcock is big on Star Trek. Linkara's big on Star Trek. He doesn't review the show, but people kind of know where he's at with the Star Trek fandom. I'm just kind of like an outsider with Star Trek, so I'm not somebody people think of when they look for Star Trek reviews. So those views were kind of middling. But I kept at it because there wasn't a lot of new stuff for me to talk about coming out at the time. Now we're kind of sort of getting back to some semblance of reality here. And if people want Batwoman reviews, they know they can come to me for that. That's where a lot of my That's where a lot of my subs came from, so that's kind of what people know me for, that type of stuff. But I'm not well known as a Star Trek guy, so I never expected those views to really gain much traction. I think it's the first time they talked about Pietro after Age of Ultron. Yeah. Yeah. I think they showed Wanda being looking a little bit sullen when Sokovia was mentioned in, I think, Civil War. I think it's the first time Pietro has been mentioned, though. And I guess now that Marvel owns the rights to the character again, I guess they could bring him back if they wanted. Wanda can warp reality, it's her primary power. But it hasn't been in the MCU. In the MCU, she's a telekinetic. Now, if that was some kind of weird aspect of reality warping and she just thought it was telekinesis the whole time, okay, but they need to explain that shit. Okay? Oy. Did you see the Superman and Lois trailer? Looks okay, but it's on the CW, so I'm expecting a woke lesbian cow on the Ken farm. Yeah, I saw it. I keep getting confused about the kids. Like, they had an infant son and now they have 2 teenage sons because the universe got rejiggered so they can just make up whatever the hell they want now. It's so dumb. Like, if they were going to have 2 teenage kids, why not just have 2 teenage kids, like, before the universe got changed around? Why? I mean, Oliver remade the whole universe, so why did he age baby Jonathan 15 years and then give him a brother from out of nowhere? Why? It's such an arbitrary change to make. It just points to them not really thinking about this and not having a plan for any of it. I mean, cinematography looks nice on the show, I guess. I'm expecting the writing to be garbage, as it usually is on these shows. And the neighbor is Monica or Photon from the comics. No, I believe Geraldine is Monica Rambeau. Yeah, I don't think she's their neighbor. No, she's just there. House of M is a graphic novel worth your time to read. No, I've read House of M. I read it when it came out. Interesting story. Kind of felt like it was rewritten on the fly. But, yeah, I did read it. The art's good. According to IMDb, there's supposed to be 9 episodes. Oh, well, okay, so we're a third of the way through it now. Okay. Another request for me to review Netflix's Dark. People keep telling me about that show. I really have to watch that one of these days. Speaking of Ruby Rose, she's in a new action film called The Doorman. Yeah, I saw the trailer for that. Looks like garbage. She's still trying to be an action star. I don't know why. Her powers are evolving. That's why she's doing what she's doing. All right, but there needs to be something in the show that explains that. Monica will be the new Captain Marvel. That would solve quite a few problems they're having with Brie Larson, wouldn't it? And Monica Rambeau did assume the identity of Captain Marvel for a while in the comics too, so it's not like there's no precedent for it. let's see. And Captain Marvel. Grow your hair back. Grow my hair back. Well, it's getting, reasonably long now. I have considered how long I'm going to let it go before I get rid of it again. I may have to trim the back before too long. It's getting a little bit mullet-esque back there, so I might trim that. But yeah, I'm not thinking about shaving it off just yet. And okay, so that's we're to the end of the chat room. I guess I can talk about Fate the Winx Saga if you want, because I did watch that show. I don't have enough strong opinions about it to make a good review, I don't think. The whole thing is kind of meh. But, yeah. So, Fate the Winx Saga dropped the other day. I asked about this on Twitter. Just wondering what the word of mouth was on it. So apparently, fans of this, because I guess it's based on a Nickelodeon cartoon from some years back that I'd never heard of. But I saw like some posters for it, and like, wow, this does not look like the live action version at all. So I guess word of mouth was not too good, because I guess they're taking a lot of liberties with this new version. And so I don't know anything about that. I don't know how it rates as an adaptation of another property, or a cartoon rather. But just as a show on its own, there are so many problems with this thing. I was so confused about so many things. I think the first season is like 7 episodes. So I watched all 7, and I still have no idea what a Winx is. I don't think that word is ever spoken in the show. So what is a Winx? I have no idea. I don't know what's going on. I don't know a lot about what's going on here, because it seems like they skipped over all the backstory and world building that we needed to know, or at least understand this world and the people in it. It's like they just assumed that people watching knew all this stuff. Now, I guess they're playing to fans of the cartoon, which I never watched. But again, they're also taking like tons of liberties with it, according to what fans of the cartoon have told me. So it seems like they wanted to disregard all that stuff and play to a new audience, but they still assume that people, like fans of the cartoon, are their primary audience. So it doesn't make a lot of sense. Like, sorry. Like the first episode begins with the lead girl arriving at fairy school. I missed the part where the lead girl learned that she was a fairy. And also, can we take a step back and explain what the hell fairy school is? Like, within the first couple minutes, I already have no idea what's happening. As apparently, this girl discovered that she was a fairy several months prior to the events of the first episode. Why didn't the show start with that? Like, then we could have all learned about this fairy stuff and learned about fairy school as this girl is learning about it too. She could have been our POV character. Instead, they just skip over all that stuff where she's already learned it when the show begins. So she knows what's going on, but the audience doesn't. Okay, this is like if The Magicians, like the first episode of The Magicians began with Quentin starting, began with Quentin's first day at Breakbills, and they just skipped over all that stuff where he learned that magic was real. So already it's confusing. And there's some, and then they talk about all this other information like we're already supposed to know it. There's all these different kinds of fairy realms, and and they mention these things like we're supposed to know this, and we're supposed to know where this is from, and who these people are, and I don't know any of these things, and I guess some of the students at fairy school are fairies and some are not. Why are the non-fairies going to fairy school? Apparently some are just normal people who are training to be specialists. I don't know what a specialist is. It seems to mostly involve learning to sword fight. Why are they sword fighting? Why are swords necessary? I mean, it seems like Fairyland has lots of modern technology, so wouldn't they just use a gun? I mean, wouldn't guns be easier? I don't know. Like, what? Like, there's so much of a disconnect between the fairy stuff and like the normal stuff. Like, I guess Fairyland is kept secret from the mortal world, but they still get perfect cell service there. Like we constantly see characters on their phones texting each other. Like, the lead girl is often like talking to her parents on the phone. Her parents live in California, but here is the lead girl in Fairyland, and she's still got like all the bars on her phone. She can still talk to her parents on her fucking iPhone. It's so bizarre. And I don't know how any of this works. And then we have the villains of the show. The villains are these evil monsters called Burned Ones, who are evil and monstrous because evil is bad. They don't reveal anything about these guys at all. Why are they evil? Why are the Burned Ones evil? Why do the Burned Ones want to kill everybody? Why are the Burned Ones burned? They don't tell you anything about this. It's like they needed a shark in the water, so like there are monsters outside the school gates. There are Burned Ones. Okay, what's a burned one? I don't fucking know. But we're supposed to be really scared of them for some reason. And it's so the villains are like completely nondescript. At least those villains are. There's some fairy villains, but we don't really learn what they're about either. I mean, none of this is terribly deep. The villains aren't deep. The characters aren't deep. It's all very, very shallow. Like they're playing to the CW audience here. They introduce multiple love triangles almost immediately, like within the first couple minutes of the show beginning. And I'm like, guys, dudes, we don't even know these characters' names yet. Can we take a step back? Can you hold off on the shipping for one episode until I learn what to call these people? You know, it's... Oh, lordy. I don't know, the cast is pretty meh. Most of these people were cast for their looks. It just so happens that some of them can act passively. Like, the lead girl is pretty decent. You know, one or two others. A lot of them are pretty wooden, though. None of these actors are terribly interesting outside of lead girl, I guess. I watched those 7 episodes. I can't remember their names. What the hell's her name? Bloom is her name. Wow, one character's name I remember out of this whole cast. Oi. Yeah, see, I don't think there's enough there for me to do a proper review of it. It's really not terribly interesting. There were a couple twists in the finale that were kind of like, all right, that's kind of neat, but yeah, otherwise there's not a lot of interesting stuff going on. The characters are not very compelling. Like 80% of the storylines these girls get are about what boy they like. It's yeah, you could probably skip this one. I don't know. Apparently the cartoon it's based on was pretty popular. I guess I looked at the Wikipedia, and apparently it went for like several seasons. So it's got a a fairly devoted fan base, I guess. I'm assuming the cartoon was better than this show. So I'm kind of actually kind of curious about what the cartoon was about. But yeah, this one is I think you're not missing a whole lot if you skip Fate the Winx saga. What the hell is a Winx? I still don't know. Fringe, a good, strong female show. Yeah, Fringe. I liked Fringe a lot. Fringe was good. Ultimate X-Men or Ultimate Fantastic Four run could be done really well in TV series format if only it could be done right if Disney Fox decided to reboot it. I don't know. I mean, Ultimate X-Men started out good. Ultimate Fantastic, they both started out good, but holy gods, they went off the rails later on. I would honestly prefer they just stay away from adapting either of them, because I don't want any of those later plot twists seeping into the movies. I really don't. And grow a stash. I can't really. I can grow a beard. The mustache never really comes in. It's just kind of there's not much hair growing on there. Yeah. So the mustache is most likely never happening. It's based off a Nickelodeon cartoon. The cartoon was interesting when I was younger, but I don't really know much about it now. All right. Cartoon was okay. 4 kids ruined parts of it. What show are you talking about? Fate the Winx Saga. It's on Netflix. I mainly watched it just to see if there was something in there for me to review. Turns out there probably isn't. I heard a rumor that Batman the Animated Series is getting a continuation on HBO Max. Yeah, I heard about that too. Don't know if anything's confirmed. I would be very hesitant about that happening. I mean, if Bruce Timm is back on board, then okay. If they can't get Bruce Timm, don't even touch it. That show is such a classic. I would be very, very hesitant to the idea of a reboot unless Bruce Timm was involved. Fate the Winx Saga sounds not very good. Think I'll stick with 2014 Salem TV series instead. That's a great series about witches, really good acting, gory, scary, and decent story. Yeah, I saw Witches. I saw the first season and part of season 2. I think I checked out in season 2. Yeah, it was kind of interesting. Let's see. The cartoon was actually pretty mature. People died there. Huh. Cartoon was amazing. Interesting. So I'm guessing this is not a very faithful adaptation. I'm actually kind of curious about this cartoon now. A lot of positive comments about the cartoon. I might check that out just out of curiosity. Batman the Animated Series was one of my favorite shows growing up, so if this rumor is true, I doubt I'll be very happy. I have no faith in reboots anymore. Cobra Kai seems to be the exception, but it's not worth all the other crap we have to wade through. Cobra Kai is so good. Yeah, but there seem to be more failures than successes in the reboot department. Yeah. Alright, well, that's about the end of the chat room. Okay, so, I mean, we can think about wrapping this up now. If you guys want to, Bloom is a Mary Sue, but she's likable. I didn't get the Mary Sue vibe from her. I mean, she does have problems with like controlling her magic early on. And she does level up very quickly. And she does make a lot of a lot of mistakes. I wouldn't necessarily say Mary Sue. She's just very powerful with her magic. I mean, she does screw up a lot towards the end of the season. If you're going to watch WinX Season 1 through 4, excellent. Season 5 is okay, the rest is garbage. Holy crap, how many seasons does this thing have? I was just thinking about, well, looking at it out of curiosity. I'm not planning to binge the whole thing. There are different English dubs. How many versions of this thing did they make? David Serda. I hope I pronounced that right. Thank you for the super chat. Have you seen the Harley Quinn animated series? It's rated MA, blood and guts and cussing. Supporting cast is hilarious. I've not seen it. I think it's on HBO Max, right? I did not have HBO Max until I got it to review Wonder Woman 84. So I've not seen the Harley Quinn series. I've seen clips of it, and which I didn't find to be that funny. Maybe because I was viewing them out of context. I would like to just see like an episode in context to see what I'm missing, but yeah, I mean, just based on the clips I saw, it didn't really scratch me where I itch. But again, I've only seen clips of it, so I don't really have like the full breadth of it. Michael West again with another super chat. I don't know what, still don't know what currency that is, but thank you. Have you seen Altered Carbon on Netflix? A little bit. I watched the first episode, and production values were incredible. But it seemed kind of light on the story and character department. It's very pleasing to look at, very pleasing. But story wise, it's like character wise, it didn't really grab me for some reason. It seemed like it was all. It was a lot of. It seemed like a very like all sizzle no steak situation. Hoping, I think, like they were hoping people would be dazzled by the amazing sets and the incredible production values, which are super impressive. I will give them that. But I mean, the character just felt like it was barely there. It just seemed very, very thinly drawn. 8 seasons of freaking WinX. Good God, that cartoon went forever. Okay, I'm going to have to take a look at this thing. I'm really curious about this now. I know a website that'll probably have it. Karate Kid 2 stuff. Cobra Kai Season 3 was the best part to me. Karate Kid Part 2 always had the best villain and love interest, in my opinion. Yeah, Part 2 was my favorite of the movies. Man, when they did the flashbacks to Part 2, it's like, wow, I forgot how pretty Kamiko was in that movie. Holy moly. Like, she was stunning. Good lord. And yeah, Chosen, great villain. I still remember like the final fight with Daniel and Chosen in part 2. Those were the highest stakes like the movies ever got. Yeah. Did Batwoman do that thing where they claim your video and then you appeal it and then they remove it? List review vid. Those pricks do that. I don't think so. No, we're still monetized. Now the Batwoman reviews have not. I don't think have ever been claimed. Because I purposefully don't include a lot of media from the show in those reviews, because like for every type of review I do, I try to make them a little bit different. Like when I review like a season of a TV show, I'll do like shots from like screenshots from the show and put them in the background. And when I do a movie review, I'll include background music. When I'm just doing like a single episode, I just do like the one shot. Because one, those are really important to get out like as quickly as I can. Because there's like a shelf life on those type of things when you're just doing one episode. And also, like the less media you use from the show, the better. And these are from episodes that just aired. So the copyright bots are going to be circling you like a hawk anyway. So I'll do one shot, and that's it. And the rest of it is just me talking. So those types of reviews don't really get claimed. And so I try to be as careful about that as I can, because the YouTube's copyright guidelines seem like they're constantly changing anyway. So the less media you use from the actual show, the safer you are. Yeah, for example, the Supergirl reviews have all been claimed, like multiple times. So yeah, I don't get any ad revenue from those. And a couple of the movie reviews have been claimed too. So it's just it's tough. So I purposefully, when I review an episode of television, I purposefully do not include any media beyond that one shot. I'll do like one or two. That's it. Just to be safe. Do you still watch wrestling? Yeah. I never stopped. Boys Season 3 will start shooting next week. Yes! Who watches The Boys? Is it a good show? No, The Boys is a great show. If you haven't seen it yet, go watch it right now. Stop watching Supergirl midway through Season 5. Good. Can't believe you lasted that long. Holy moly. That's so annoying. The Supergirl reviews get hundreds of thousands of views. Those bots don't have anything to do apart from annoy people. Yeah, it's really frustrating too, because I worked really hard to try to avoid those claims. Like when the algorithm, like when the copyright guidelines became more strict, I was really careful to not use any clips longer than 7 seconds, which made editing really difficult. But I thought I was being pretty safe. But I think the last one I did, I had to re-edit and re-upload that like 4 or 5 times, because it kept getting claimed like before like the video would even finish processing. And that happened with the last couple of ones I did. But before my channel started getting noticed, that wasn't a problem. But once people started tuning in, and my channel started getting some attention, the copyright bots swooped in like vultures, and suddenly I wasn't getting paid for those things anymore. All right, hold on. Let me get 1 second here, because I'm so curious about this WinX thing. Let me see. I know a website that might have these episodes here. Okay, we've got WinX Club, RAI English, WinX Club, WoW, World of WinX. Is it WinX or Winx? I don't know. Alright, WinX Club. Alright, here we go. Oh, wow, it's so girly. Oh, that does not... Okay, I see why fans of the show are pissed off. Yeah, wow, the people who adapted like the live action show, this looks nothing like the cartoon. All right, I am going to watch the first episode tonight just to see what this show is about, because you guys have made me really curious about this now. Is it just going to be like girly nonsense? Because I'm not really interested in that. Winx? Oh, was I pronouncing it? Winx? Not WinX? Oh, it's a play on wings. Oh, okay, I've been pronouncing it wrong this whole time. Okay. It is girly. Alright. But good God, I mean, it went for 8 seasons? There must have been something about this that was good. I'm gonna watch this thing tonight. Maybe next week I can tell you what I thought about it. Yeah. Let's see. Alright, let's get through the last of these and then we can wrap this up. With Marvel putting up an episode a week for all their series and movies, there will be almost a new piece of the MCU content a week all year. That'll give you more content for your channel. Yeah, that's nice. Because it kind of sucked that I had to stop the live streams back in the summer, because at the time I wasn't really feeling up to it. If these work, we can go back to making this a regular thing, at least as long as Marvel shows are dropping a new episode every week. So to be continued on this. It feels like they're working so far. So that's good. Right now I feel about as good as I've felt in the last 6 months. It's still not entirely normal. I don't know if you guys have ever had a sinus infection, or a sinus headache, rather. But imagine having like a really bad one but it's not just in your sinuses, it's like all over your head, to the point where it feels like your skull is in a giant vice that keeps compressing like nonstop. That's kind of what this feels like. And also there's like the extra congestion, and then I've had like a hypersalivation issue that started in the last couple of months too, which makes, you're shooting videos like very difficult. I mean, it's never been exactly easy, but now, I mean, getting good takes is like, it's so hard. It just takes forever, because speaking becomes more difficult. So I have to keep swallowing to get rid of everything. So for a while, it was like there was this kind of like just really stabbing pain that would kind of move around my head. It would sometimes be over here, then back here. It would just move around all the time. And it was just really debilitating. Like, I didn't want to do anything. I'd have to, like, lie down periodically because it hurt so much. So I've been going to an ear, nose, and throat doctor for months, like since June, to try to get rid of this. So originally he gave me some stuff that very, very gradually got rid of the pain that would move around. So that's gone now, but there's still just this constant pressure on my head. Now, thankfully, that is slowly going away thanks to these. I still feel it now, But I do feel better. Not normal, but better. So we'll see. I've taken these for another week, I think. And then we got the surgery on March 5th. So hopefully a combination of that gets me back to normal. Because I'm ready to get rid of this, man. This sucks. I'm ready to hopefully get some energy back, because I've had no energy since this started. It's so hard to just go through my daily life, just with this constant just pressure and pain and everything. It's horrible. So I will keep you guys abreast of how that's going. So far, it's going all right. Hopefully, it clears up the problem. Or at least the problem doesn't get any worse. We're headed in the right direction now, so that's nice. Anything? Most of these drugs are just talk and no action. That's why I hate being sick. Yeah, it's weird. I had a problem that was just like this. Might have been the same type of thing like a couple of years ago. And so I went to the doctor. He gave me some stuff that cleared it up really quickly. But that was my old primary care doctor. He's since retired. So now I'm going to new doctors. And any meds they prescribed to me, like I took one, and that turned out I was allergic to that one, so that did nothing. But any of the ones that work don't work like all the way. They work like partially. Like they'll alleviate the problem like maybe 20% or 30%, but nothing I've taken so far has been 100% effective. That's what I'm looking for. I haven't found it yet. Maybe this will be the ones that does it. I don't know. Okay. Anything else here I need to talk about? Not really. Will you watch Dark at some point? You know, people keep telling me how great Dark is. I have become curious about the show, but I've got to watch so much other stuff just for review purposes. I don't get to watch a lot of stuff just for like enjoyment. So who knows? I mean, it's on the list. I'm gonna have to check it out at some point. I don't think there'd be much point in reviewing it, because I guess it's been out for a while. I don't know if there'd be a lot of interest in it, because one thing that the last 6 to 8 months have taught me is that my channel is not yet at a point where I can talk about stuff that isn't being buzzed about that much and have people tune in. Because I can get a fair amount of viewership when I'm covering stuff that people are actually buzzing about. Wonder Woman 1984. The Batwoman rage videos are always tend to do well. But when the pandemic hit and a lot of the big stuff got shut down, summer movie season, etc., I had to talk about stuff that was a little bit more obscure. So that's when I started doing like Hulu movies, Netflix movies, like The Happiest Season, Mank, The Prom, stuff like that. And none of those reviews really caught fire, because they weren't really buzzed about projects. Then Wonder Woman 1984 finally drops. I talk about that one, and suddenly, boom, there we go. It's suddenly I get 20,000 views. Okay, cool. So I need to continue to build up my subscriber count until I reach that point where people will tune in just to see me and not the stuff I'm talking about. Because I've mentioned this before. There is some kind of like nebulous line or threshold that separates channels that people will tune in just to see the person. They'll turn in just to see you. And then there's the channels where people tune in to see the stuff that you're talking about. They tune in because they're interested to hear about the thing that they want to know about, like a video game. Like they'll tune into a video game reviewer to see a review of Final Fantasy, the Final Fantasy VII remake. But if that same reviewer talks about, does a review of a book he likes, it may not attract the same crowd, because a lot of those people don't care about the book review. They just tuned in to him to see his review of Final Fantasy VII. And then there's the channels over here, which people will tune in and watch a video no matter what it's about because they like the person making the videos. Right now, I think I'm still in this area where I can get people to tune in if they're interested in the thing I'm reviewing, but if they're not gonna, most people aren't going to tune in just to see me, if that makes any sense. So, work still needs to be done. Of course, the goal for 2020 was to get to 40,000 subscribers. I was on track to meet that goal until the pandemic hit, and then we kind of got stuck around just under 35,000, I think. So we finally crossed that barrier. So thanks to the Wonder Woman 84 review. I think we're, I don't know what we're at right now. I think we're at like 35.6. Not sure. I'd have to check. But yeah, sub growth has picked up now that we've got, movies and TV to talk about. So I'm hopeful things can get back to something resembling normal. Because so right now the goal is just to get to 40,000, and to hit that mark I wanted to hit last year. So that's what I'm working towards right now. And then could we get to 50,000 in 2021? I'm not going to make that goal right now because the last goal was kind of a wash. But I'm going to try to get to 40,000 here, and then just maybe I'll shoot for 45,000, and then just we'll go from there. So trying to keep those expectations realistic. 36.6. That's where I'm at. Okay. So not too far off from 40. All right. Okay. Cool. All right. So I think we can hit 40,000. Maybe give it a couple months and see what happens. And then I guess I'll shoot for 45, and if I can get to 45K by before the end of the year, then we'll see about 50. Who knows? So share the videos, like the videos, tell your friends, post them on your Facebook, your social media, wherever. Just to get the word out about the show. And I will talk to you guys pretty soon. I guess we've got another Batwoman episode tomorrow night. Oh, God help me. I swear I told myself before the season started, I'm going to try to make these Batwoman reviews shorter for season 2. Because I can't. They just got longer and longer for season 1. I can't go through that again. First, the season 2 premiere is fucking 35-minute video. I was like, why did I do this to myself? What? I told myself I was going to make these things shorter, but I started writing the script. I just kept writing, and I couldn't. It was just so much to unpack. Oh, good God. It's going to happen tomorrow night again, isn't it? Okay. All right, we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. Guys, I'm getting out of here. I'm going to go make some dinner, and then I'm going to go watch this Winx Club thing and see what that's about, because you've made me so curious about this thing now. I'd like to see what kind of an adaptation that live-action version was. I assume the cartoon is better, but I don't know. Must be something about it that kept it going for 8 seasons. Anyway, that's all I got. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for all the comments. Thank you for the super chats. Oh, we got another super chat. Hold on. Oh no, that's the same one. All right. So thank you to our super chatters, John Wheeler. Thank you, Man in Hades. Thank you for the $10, John Wheeler again. Let's see, Michael West. I don't know what country you're in right now. I don't know what currency that is, but thank you anyway. David Serta. I hope I pronounced your name right. Thank you very much. And Michael West again. Thank you. Yeah. All right. So thanks for tuning in, everybody. Thanks for chatting with me tonight. I will see you. I'll talk to you next Saturday for episode 4 of WandaVision. In the meantime, we got another episode of Batwoman. The review for which should be coming out on Wednesday. Excuse me. Actually, I believe there's a trailer for the first teaser trailer for Godzilla vs. Kong comes out tomorrow, doesn't it? I don't know if I'd have time to make a reaction video about that. I don't know. I have to turn my attention to Batwoman, and those videos take a long time. Those videos take a while to make. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. So, yeah. Thank you again. Talk to you guys soon. Yeah. Peace out, and I'll see you on Wednesday. Thanks so much.